Hello, and welcome to the Daily Political Tarot and Astrology here on the Black and Orange channel. Thank you for being here. I am here literally every single day of the year to take your political questions out of the chat. So just leave your questions in the chat before I come on. I don't do personal readings, but I'll take your political questions if you've got them. And I read on the collective energy, and we get some interesting insights from that quite often. So anyway, we have epic troll slayers who have kept us safe for years. Thank you. And we've got a fantastic community. And we've got a fantastic community here because of your kindness. You've been so kind to me. You've been so kind to Miss Sarah. You're kind to each other. It's a great community because of your kindness. So thank you. And if you're watching on replay, hello, you can go down in the description box. All the questions are listed there. I timestamp them as I go, so you can pick and choose what you're interested in. Or you can watch back on like 1.25 speed, which I do a lot. So, on YouTube. Hello, hello. After yesterday, I needed kitties. Just a sweet kitten. Okay. Anyway, I'm an adult. I can handle it. Okay. All right. I'm using the weird. No, I was going to use the Weird World Tarot. And then I reached for it. I picked it up. And then it was like, no. Pulp Tarot. The thieves, the gangsters. All right. And I've got some quick and dirty astrology for you coming up, but I don't want to start with that because rather than me go through a bunch of charts, I brought some interesting tidbits from AstroTheme. So anyway, using their compatibility thing that gives you a number. I don't always agree, but I think it can give you a ballpark. It's very interesting. I looked at presidents and vice presidents of the last few decades, and the possibility if Kamala Harris did become the nominee, there's just a handful of people who they're mentioning could potentially be her running mate, just as a thought experiment. And so I had to go digging to get the information because it wasn't in the AstroTheme database, but I put that together. So I've got interesting stuff for us to look at. But we are starting with the largest IT outage in history. So at 3:20, I got to play detective this morning, which always makes my Scorpio sun happy. Sun and Scorpio they're generally are the natural detectives of the zodiac. And it was like, yeah. So basically, from what I've been able to find out, the IT fiasco that's going on had to do with CrowdStrike, that does security and what have you. Their latest update, something went screwy in the coding, and it just had this huge effect. I think one of the biggest things was in Microsoft, but apparently Delta Airlines is on the ground because their planes aren't flying, and on and on. So I went looking for CrowdStrike because I was wondering if the planet Uranus, which rules the internet, which rules technology on that level, kind of being in the same place as Algol, the Medusa's head mess. I was wondering if that was directly affecting them. And I went digging and I found their chart. They were incorporated on August 29th, 2011 It's a Delaware company, but they're based in Austin, Texas. And there was nothing going on in late Taurus in their chart. It's like, oh, well, I guess that's not a direct thing there, but there was something else in their chart. It wasn't looking good. Anyway, so I would have to. Is it Ruth? Hang on. Ruth. Yeah. Arisa, they've had a problem before. Can't remember what it was, but it was them. That makes sense. Oh, we're talking about the price of DJT stock. Let's see. Melissa's saying AOC did an Insta Live last night. She said the ones wanting to get rid of Biden also want to get rid of Harris. Surprise. You mean the woman? You mean the woman of color? Yeah. Get stuffed. Not you. Them. Anyway. And Malting's Cottage. 34.15. Okay, I'm getting bored of this now. Okay. Whew. All right. What a shocker. Yes. Okay, so, but the largest IT outage in history, sparking global chaos, is the problem. Is it actually, is it actually a cyber attack and they're just not telling us? They don't want to tell us that there's weakness right there. Could it be an act of God? Kind of. I mean, let's face it, the internet between the continents, some of it's satellite based, but a chunk of it is just on cables that are laying at the bottom of the ocean, just hanging out over thousands upon thousands upon thousands of miles. What could go wrong? Or something like the coronal mass ejection. Paula was saying yesterday that apparently there's been the sun's acting up. So, so what's up with this IT thing? Because I'm not surprised, and I was honestly, as soon as Pluto went into Aquarius, I for years now I've been saying, I wonder if there's going to be a serious like stress test of the internet, the security of the internet, the structure of the internet, because that's what Aquarius rules. And hello, Becca from House of Lenormand. Do follow House of Lenormand. Becca is great. Okay. Susie Buckingham says they're saying it's a glitch in the software. Crowd strike. No attack. Okay, thank you. Which deck today? Pulp Tarot. Okay. Well, I'm not surprised to see swords. Swords is going to be communications, electronics, that sort of thing. Page of Swords, brought to a knee. Yeah, and there's going to be huge fallout from this, financial fallout for this company. Oh boy, I hadn't even thought of that. The cards are just like, all right. It's a thief card, but it's also just, you done messed up and ruined everything. And people who could have been making money and could have been getting things done or getting places couldn't, and Eight of Cups. Something left unfinished. Something not put together right. Queen of Wands. They're having to go through this. They're having to go through the code line by line, the whole update, they are having to go through it manually, line by line by line, and then once they fix it, they have to run it in controlled environments before they can even send out the corrected update, because you have to make certain that it's stable enough and it's not going to cause more problems, and that you caught the real problem. Queen of Swords, yeah, all over this. King of Wands. So this is a lot of pressure. Wands are fire signs, and fire signs get up and go. They've got a fire lit beneath them. So there's a lot of pressure. So I'm not really getting major arcana. So we will probably forget this happened 6 months from now. Okay. Becca, did they really? You're saying they put Trump's ear prop on the wrong ear? Really? This one? Was it on his left ear or something for a minute? I don't know. All right. It's, yeah, we're the internet is a great way to make money, but it's also, if you're part of the infrastructure, you are part of whatever, not even infrastructure hardware, but infrastructure software. It's a lot of responsibility. Suspension of processes, Wheel of Fortune, kind of every day you spin the wheel to see what's what's gonna happen today. Four of Cups, Nine of Swords, and the Fool. But we're going forward. Yeah, there are going to be glitches. There are going to be glitches. At some points, there will be, some Yahoo somewhere will try to do some kind of cyber attack. But I think 6 months from now, we're not even going to remember this. So that's good. Anyway, okay. Cat. Hang on, my mouse is not listening to me. Kat was saying, I've been affected by the outage all morning corporately. They've got us up and running about an hour ago. Good. Yeah. Good. All right. All right. So let's move on to politics at 13:25. When I first came on, I'm afraid I was trying to get through the thing earlier. Someone was saying that Biden has released a statement saying he's looking forward to getting back on the campaign trail in a week or two. So I'm just sharing with you what I saw there. But the question from Donna Andrews is, Jamie Raskin, once a staunch Biden ally, Jamie Raskin, once a staunch Biden ally, is now calling for him to step down. Is this the beginning of a Democratic mutiny against Biden's leadership, or a continuation? Paula says, my internet was out completely all morning. Our whole county. Oh, man. Michelle Tom says, the tech company in Malibu, California just sent everyone home. My husband is not unhappy. Here we go. Okay. Susan, is it Ritza? It's on the news. Biden is staying. MSNBC's Morning Joe. Okay. And Elizabeth B's asking, what the heck, Raskin? Dee says, Biden has announced he's staying. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, the tower is the card for the reading, which would be the major candidate dropping out just several months before an election. And in the past, that has not gone well for anyone who's dropped out. For the party who dropped out, they always ended up losing the election. So that fear is in the ether as well. The moon. Honestly, I think some of this is astrological. Not necessarily the moon. It's that whole algol thing. I was listening to Marianne this morning down in Australia, and she's great. But man, I got hit hard yesterday from kind of the wave of fear that people have had. She got hit even harder because her channel's bigger. And you know, I knew what she felt like. I have asked in the past for people to put something in all caps if it's specifically focused at me. These days I don't, but I have done that in the past. It isn't the all caps. I just want to say it's what was said, telling me what to do. If you're saying something nice in all caps, that's great. If you are telling somebody, stop reading on that, read on this, in all caps, it's a different thing. Plus, there was just so much negativity. And I still just keep getting, we're going to be okay. But anyway, there's, ever since the debate, there's been this churning. And the astrology for the beginning of the Democratic Convention is very tense. There are a whole lot of I think there are two major T-squares. So oppositions and right angles, and we'll talk about that. But there's been a lot of churning and fear and upset and what have you. And people calling for Biden to step down and what have you. At the center, though, yes, it can be people jockeying for position, maybe trying to get on Kamala Harris's good side. Whatever it is, we're Democrats and we're going to vote blue. And sauna. Chariot, that's the election coming up. Judgment is coming. Yeah. Although, and this traditionally in the Rider-Waite deck, this is the angel in the sky with the giant horn, and has woken the dead who have risen. This big election, to some extent, this is everybody's going to vote. And I get huge turnout. So mutiny against Biden's leadership. I don't know about mutiny. They've been upset. But as Uranus moves on, it'll take a while. Uranus moves very slowly. It takes 84 years to go all the way around the zodiac. And there's something called, and it's the dumbest thing. Why would you call the couple of degrees on either side of something where it still counts as that, a conjunction, square, whatever? It doesn't have to be exact. It's the strongest when it's exact, like a conjunction, and same things in the same place. But it can be within a couple of or a few degrees of each other and still have quite an effect. And for some reason, that gap, they call it an orb. Like that word isn't already taken, meaning other things that have nothing to do with it. Anyway, it's called an orb. Uranus is still going to be with an orb of Algol for a while. The good news is, at least it's not exact anymore. It is at least moving on. And Mars has certainly moved on. It's gone. Because it's moving. I think it goes around the sun every 2 years, something like that. Anyway, so 9 of Cups. We've got a deep bench. We've got people who want to vote blue. We have women coming out to vote. We're good. Knight of Swords, 8 of Pentacles, Tower. Let me get some clarification on this. I think I know what it means, but let me get some clarification. And thank you for being here. Nothing happened to Marianne, Lori. Not a thing. She's a lovely person. She got a lot of the same. Valerie from Sage the Scales Tarot dropped in about halfway through my live stream yesterday. And she said, whoa, I just walked in here and it's like this wall of energy of in your face, solid energy. And it's like, yeah, that's what I was getting. And apparently that's what she was getting too. And then I got 222 comments or something, which is very unusual for me. I was working my way through, hearting them and doing what I could, but I ran out of time. I'll have to go back. She got over, was it 3,000? 2,000. I don't remember numbers well, but I'm pretty sure her comments were more like in the 4 digits. People being upset. So 3,500, was that it, Kat? I believe it. Melissa Helton's thinking bots, maybe. I don't know. I don't think mine were bots, or if there weren't many. And even on my little channel, that's just a fraction of the size of hers, it was a lot. Jennifer Parr says, hopefully these intense vibes subside soon. It's exhausting. Yes. Yes, it is. And I woke up at 5 a.m., which doesn't help. My body is right now is like, isn't it dinner time yet? So I was trying to get some clarification on I'm getting more clarification here. I have to wonder if the focus of attention doesn't move off Biden and it moves on to Trump. Now, it isn't until September that his sentencing is, but there's that could be headed out. That's usually law enforcement. It could be people aggressively trying to change the Democratic ticket, but this 8 of Pentacles, that's Republican talking points. And they are pushing this to try and topple the Democrats. They are stirring the pot. Make no mistake. They are stirring the pot to bring down the Democrats, to turn this into an authoritarian country. Did you know that Josh Hawley, remember Speedy Hall and Hawley? Yeah. He has said flat out he is a Christian nationalist. Grand. Anyway, please vote blue. 8 of Cups. Well, 6 of Wands, 2 of Swords, that's voting. 7 of Pentacles. This is a lot of the tumult that just comes with a major election like this. And Democrats are pulling themselves together, but it's going to be a while until we've got our act together as a party. But this is far-right victory. They're like, haha, we can stir things up and we will get, women to vote for you? That's an awful lot of money. just sitting there. Part of this could be one of the reasons why you really do want Harris to be, if it's not Biden, you want it to be Harris, because the money donated to the Biden-Harris ticket, she could still use. So, yeah. Good King Tony Clifton said, I read Holly's not the vanilla Christian nationalist. He's like extra extreme. Yay! Oh, thank you, Susan. Thank you. That's very kind. Oh, goody. Okay. Let's see here. Okay. Apparently Obama is expressing some concerns. That's what it says here about Biden, but I define concern. There's a whole difference between expressing concerns and, that could be a whole lot of different things. I'm concerned that this lipstick won't match my overlay. That's expressing a concern. Or I'm concerned that my tire's in such bad shape, I'm going to have a dangerous blowout on the highway. That's expressing a concern too. You know what I mean? Veronica Johanna says, I've heard Obama is supporting Joe. Yeah. Yeah. That is ding, 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 ding. Deborah, what's so maddening? Dems were finally united, standing strong, or so I thought. It did not take much for Republicans to fracture us. Yeah. Yeah. Well, but we're Democrats, and we don't toe the party line super well. Our whole thing is it's like live and let live, make sure nobody's left behind, and get on with life. Knight of Wands. Yeah, this is a whole lot of push from the right. Yeah, I'm getting so much energy from the right pushing this. Sleepless night, because otherwise they've got sleepless nights and insult to injury when women, pesky women, voting against them. So I am disappointed there's so many Democrats who are falling for this. But Betty Cantrell says it all has to do with money. Well, I was picking up on that too. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, they're just afraid. They're very afraid, to the point where they're willing to burn up a whole lot of goodwill that's been built up over the years. I know, Lori. How dare we women vote? Whew. Okay. Okay, let me show this to you very quickly because it's interesting. All right. This is just a thought experiment. All right. Because even if you're not, if you're like, no, Biden's going to stay in, Harris isn't going to become the candidate. And if there was an upset, who knows what would happen. But I thought this was really interesting, and I think you'll like it too. Now, I did a bunch of at 29:15. See, right here, what it says is the question here was if big if Biden decided to drop out. Some have suggested Mark Kelly, the Arizona senator, former astronaut and husband to Gabby Giffords, to join Harris as VP on the ticket. Could this work? Well, I can do a reading on that, but I thought you might find this interesting. So, I've got a bunch. I've got 14 images to show you. And I'll show you the 15th because I have a little meme I made. That will be your reward. Okay. Now, I'm not going to go through these in detail because the first two are the more traditional way I normally set this out. I'm not going through this whole thing. The upshot is this is the two charts together between Kamala Harris and Mark Kelly. There's good stuff. There's very good stuff. Even this circle down here, they were born in the same year, so a lot of their outer planets are kind of in the same place. So that's good. This is only in red because it's this way. It's square to his moon, so his emotional nature. But he's got that natally. But this, it's funny. This up here, where his sun and whatnot is on her midheaven. I have that with Sarah. Sarah has her sun on my midheaven, and we talk about business, and we talk about being, entrepreneurs, and we talk about planning and, business stuff. And she always helps me and inspires me. So I thought that was interesting. The Kamala Harris with Gavin Newsom, all kinds of good stuff, actually. They're from the same state, so it's unlikely, or that one of them would have to move. This is a thought experiment. There are a couple of outer planets that are opposite each other, and then there's a lot going on this midheaven angle. But on the whole, there's a lot of blue. There's a lot of good stuff. So I was curious. Let's go back in time. Cast your mind into the past. Ooh. They're over on Astro Theme, the website Astro Theme. They have this thing called the Celestar. That's a name. That's a name, guys. You can put together any two people in their database, and they will give numbers to different aspects, either positive numbers for good aspects and how strong they are, negative numbers for more negative aspects and how strong they are. And then they give you a percentage. And in theory, it's from 0 to 100, but it's actually a bell curve. So most are around 50. The vast majority are. And you can get over 100 and below 0, but it becomes the fewer and fewer and fewer, very, very thin. And I don't always agree with them, but I find it's a really good, quick and dirty way to compare two people's charts to see how they'd get along or not. So I went back and I started looking at presidents and vice presidents over the last few decades. And I thought you might be interested. This is Astro Theme. Astro Theme. Now, some of these I've got a free account over there, and a couple of these I had to go in and add it into my own personal database because it wasn't in their database, some of these people. But that's why the president's going to be on the right, vice president in the middle, because that's their system. Anyway, okay, here we go. Ding. Ronald Reagan and George H.W. Bush got along very well. And down here you can see, now ignore what some of these mean, because usually they're talking about romantic stuff, but it doesn't have to be romantic. 77, almost 78, almost 78% here. Yeah, they got along well. But that makes sense because Nancy Reagan had an astrologer. So of all the people that Reagan was looking at to be the vice president, she would have taken that information and gone to her astrologer and said, find me people who would get along. Find me someone who would support my husband. And just ignore that part. It doesn't have to be boom chicka wow wow, as Sarah would say. All right. So these two got along really well. Almost 78%. Okay, let's look at more. because after that, we had George H.W. Bush and Dan Quayle. And their number actually was even better. I don't know that they were particularly close, but they had the potential of getting along really well. And this might have something to do with why George H. chose Dan Quayle, because even if they had differences, the initial, they would have energetically. Lori says, I do not like that. What don't you like? Oh, thank you. So anyway, there was potential for them to feel more energetically comfortable around each other. TJ, I did not pull that up yet, but I will. But already I've got a lot. Let me show you the next one. Now here's the thing. I was trying to switch over to Clinton and Al Gore, and I still had, because you change one at a time. So in the switchover, I had Bill Clinton and Dan Quayle, who had how much in common? Basically they were politicians. It's about, right? It's insane. They weren't on opposite political sides. Bill Clinton could, let's face it, Bill Clinton was a Rhodes Scholar. Like Rachel Maddow was a Rhodes Scholar. Dan Quayle, not a Rhodes Scholar. But I just thought that was very funny, so I threw that in there. But that's not what we're here to talk about. Bill Clinton and Al Gore, 67%. It's okay. It's over 50. Okay. So there's that. So then next we had, and a chill runs through the room, George W. and Dick Cheney. And theirs was only 41% compatibility, which makes a whole lot of sense considering Dick Cheney basically wiped the floor with George W. So it's not really surprising that they weren't super close. So, okay, here we go. Next one. So after these guys, we got Joe Biden, we had Barack Obama and Joe Biden. 83%. They got along like a house on fire. We know that. And it was a joy to watch. It really was. They were friends. They were real friends. And it was a joy to watch. So we had this. And then I skipped over to Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. I'm not looking at the Republicans right today. We can do that in future. So then we had this. It's not great. It's 46%. And like I said, this is just ballpark. If you specifically dig down in through the astrology, I'm sure you'd come up with some of your own ideas. But as a quick and dirty way to look at this, I like Astro Theme for that. And I always wondered a little bit why he chose her, but okay, and she's great. So, all right. 46%. Okay. So, Bratu says that looks like a strictly business relationship. Yeah. So there are, 4 or 5 people's names being bandied about. If Biden were to step down and Kamala Harris became the person running for the presidency, and Biden, if anything, would step down for the campaign, not as the president, but if. Okay. I went from highest, and I listed these from highest compatibility to worst. And by compatibility, it's would they actually be able to work well together? And I was surprised. Doesn't mean they're going to get along. Believe me, there are some people who are horrified once they discovered Celestar, and they were like, oh my gosh, I've got a high number with Donald Trump and I despise him. Yes, that can happen. But there's potential if different choices were made in life by him. Kamala Harris and Gavin Newsom, 87%. Like I showed you back here, there's a lot of good. There's some tension there too that would keep you moving, but yeah, I was surprised. Like, wow, okay. So they could communicate well. They could more easily understand each other if they decided to work together. Now, but the next possibility was Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro, and that's a 64%, which I thought was interesting. It's a swing state. He doesn't have the national recognition that maybe somebody else does, but he was in the Astro Theme database, and they're French, so apparently he was important enough that they put him in. Mark Kelly, which is another name that's people have been talking about or suggesting, almost 54%, and he would be great. Yeah, that was that first one I showed you. There's a little tension here, but on the whole, there's a lot of good there. And he would, with his son up there, he would make her look good. So, Mark Kelly. All right. And then Andy Beshear, who is governor of Kentucky. Is that right? Do I have that right? 51%, which isn't bad. Yeah. Reverend Robin Gilbert says you can't have two people on the ticket from the same state. Yeah, we've talked about that. We've trust me, we've talked all about that, where one of them would have to like move or what. Yeah, and some people have done stuff like that in the past. Like I said, this is a thought experiment. So good communication with Andy Beshear, but again, not the national recognition. So, but and 51%, okay, average. They could work together. And then lastly, Gretchen Whitmer, Kamala Harris, and Gretchen Whitmer, 45%. I don't see it. I mean, like I said, I thought it was, I was like, oh, I don't exactly know why Biden chose Kamala Harris. I'm glad he did, but the astrology isn't like, woohoo. But I don't see this ending well. So yeah. And then we're back to the kitties. All right. So I wanted to show you that. Giovanna says Kamala has most likely, she could say resides in DC. Could be. I don't know. Anyway, so I thought you might be interested in that, in the what that compatibility thing on astrotheme.com was saying about presidents and vice presidents in recent decades. So, all right. Rob D says, high compatibility doesn't necessarily translate into good, competent governing. Still, it was interesting. Oh, yeah. I understand. Like I said. So, Linda Kingsley is asking about Pete Buttigieg as VP. I think that if you think the Democrats are freaking out now, the worst of the Democrats are freaking out now, putting an openly gay man on a ticket with the woman who would be not only the first woman president, but the first woman of color president, with an openly gay vice president. I think that there are even Democrats whose heads would explode, which is stupid, but here we are. Okay. Chris Mund, we have talked about this. It's okay. It's okay. Michelle says, don't care, still want Pete. I understand that. Hello, you. Are you napping? Are you visiting? What are you doing? Okay, what's the next question? 45 minutes in. Hi. And there's a boo-boo. Hello, boo-boo. So next we are looking at delivery fees skyrocketing. Alexa Gibson was asking about that. 40, 45. Oh. Hello, dear heart. 45.20. All right. With delivery fees skyrocketing for online. Oh, jeez. Cat. Oh, dear heart. Hang on. Your energy is so good. Yes, it is. You have the sweetest energy. Makes me feel so good. And after being in this stuff. With delivery fees skyrocketing for online shopping, isn't this just another form of corporate greed exploiting the homebound? When will Congress step in to protect vulnerable consumers? Sooner, if we have Democrats in charge. All right, yeah, I wish you could feel the energy coming off of him. It's just the sweetest. It's like my heart chakra is just being bathed in this lovely, sweet energy. Oh, he's so good. He's so good. I don't understand why you have to fight with your brother. I don't know why. Nothing to be jealous about. All right. Corporate greed. Delivery fees. Greed. Where we go? Just relax. No, we're not. Just relax. There you go. Becca says, President Biden, that's 91%. I'm all in. Did you go to Astro Theme? Is that what that is? Or something else? Lewis says, what's that, boo-boo? Timmy's stuck in the well? Me? Here. There you go. There we go. So, Knight of Cups. Delivery people, of course, do not get the appreciation they deserve. The amount of good that they do, bringing people things that they need, it's not all frivolous stuff. It's life-saving medicine. It's food when people are incredibly hungry. It's things that people have saved up for months. Ace of Pentacles. That's a big amount of money. Queen of Wands, Chariot. if ever a card was more appropriate to a reading, having the Chariot right in the middle for delivery, with the Queen of Swords and the Four of Cups. It feels like they were already trying to do something about corporate greed and what have you. Of course, this would be far right business. They're good businesses that really care about people, but this is not it. This is the greed to get the money about delivery. This is some legislative action, but it's not going to be soon. But hopefully soon. Hopefully, in a decent amount of time. Okay. Becca's saying, does anyone here remember the polls that were saying there was going to be a red wave? It was only a trickle. Yeah. Only find out later that all of those polls were funded by 45 super PACs. Same applies here. Manipulating the polls. I believe it. Yep. Chris asking, weren't you going to get monitors to clear the trolls? They do add to the count, but you can still block them. We've got great troll slayers here. So now yesterday, people who were upset died in the wool Democrats. blue as blue, blue as blue could be. It's just people afraid. Okay, so well, you guys have been talking about this in the chat at 5020. Dr. Jonathan Reiner called the lack of a medical report on Trump's shooting injuries bizarre. And that's true. Is the Trump campaign deliberately withholding information about the true extent of his injuries? Frankly, I don't think it's like he's hurt worse than we know. It might be that, excuse me, was it Junior who said he needed like 1 stitch? And I'm not saying it should have been more at all. I'm glad he's okay. I want the man held accountable for his crimes. I don't want him unalived at all. But if it was actually a piece of glass from the monitor and it just, I'm glad that's all that happened to him. I feel horrible for those poor people behind him. Betty Cantrell says, no, they're saying a scratch, not a bullet wound. Well, KR said, Junior said no stitches. Well, what's going on with the ear, the wound? Because from what I've heard, I know his name, but I try not to remember that the shooters were that guy. Apparently part of what he was doing was he was in a gun club or something, his father, something, and like he was part of the reason he was there. He was like proving that, no, I really can shoot. Dude, pick a different hobby. That was kind of late now. So the wound. All right, this was a big deal. Very big deal. There should not be violence in politics at all, ever. And behind the star card, yeah, there was someone who was trying to, let's just say, take things that weren't theirs. 5 of Swords, adding insult to injury. Well, that's the injury. That's the, okay. 6 of Pentacles. Well, he certainly got a boost, at least temporarily, from the MAGAs in the middle. This should be higher wisdom, but it's actually secrets. And 4 of Swords would be, I mean, this one is, being stuck in bed. Maybe you're sick, maybe you're depressed or whatever. In the Rider Waite, it looks like a guy sitting on top of a coffin or a stone, something inside of a church or whatever. It's not actually a guy. It's a statue of a guy because the guy is inside. The guy is gone. And it's often legal silence, or in this case, it would be keeping silent about the extent of the injuries. So, okay, cards, did you just tell me what I already know? What we already know? Come on. What's going on? What is it? We know they're keeping it secret. And they'll probably continue to do so. I think they'll release the information when they release Trump's taxes. But what else can you tell us? Oh, Tigers of Forley. That was awesome. Yes, Trump is king ear. Shakespeare references are always for the win. Let's see here. The ear, the ear, the ear. Not even here. There's nothing here. Well, I mean, he got medical attention. He did. He has a lot more. He has much better medical than most of us. There's Fool, Four of Wands. This Fool, I'm not insulting him. It's I believe this is pointing out he's not handling this well. He does not have a healthy emotional life. So he's going to try to just stuff it down into a box, all his feelings, all the everything, and it's going to seep out, and it's going to be a mess. Page of Wands. The people, his closest flunkies of the least amount of power, we'll see. Three of Cups, Queen of Swords. Yeah, this isn't about the ear. This is about women voting. This is about the legal mess coming for Trump. It's just waiting in the wings. Hello, dear. We're not quite. We still have a few more minutes. All making biscuits. Who wants kitty biscuits? Okay, just relax. What else have we got here? Okay. I'm going to stand on my tiptoes. 57. Yeah, let's have a look at the Trump speech in the sense of where does it go from here? Because it was promised that he was going to, have this unity speech, that kind of thing. And it's, that lasted for part of the speech. He also gave the longest speech in nomination convention history. It's like an hour and a half. There's no way. There's not even with Hal. I couldn't sit through that even with Hal. Just no. Big no. Anne's asking, will Dumpy wear an ear patch now, like an eye patch? Yeah. I'm almost done. Just calm down. It's okay. So Trump's uncharacteristically low energy speech at the RNC has raised eyebrows. Are we seeing the effects of the shooting, or is it a calculated attempt to appear more presidential? Or yeah. He might have even been able to turn this into long-term positive, like goodwill toward him, but he doesn't have the emotional intelligence to do that. Knight of Cups. He needs help. There's nothing wrong with saying, I need help. Okay. Cards are not playing around. What are the effects? What about Trump? Well, it's pretty blunt. He wants to be the emperor. There is a major, he has no coping skills, Alexa. None. He doesn't. When he's faced with adversity, he acts like a toddler. Precious. This is a great big election coming, and he's going to lose. And if you pull it back, I'm trying to pull the time frame back, then this could be campaigning, and he starts unraveling. He has to suspend his campaign, possibly. Would he have to suspend his campaign? Will Trump have to. He's a good boy. He's a good boy. Will Trump have to suspend his campaign? Beefy Tutu, I think that he's a spoiled brat. And I think he never had to learn. You know, they say, at least back in my time, people who read a lot of novels ended up with a lot more emotional intelligence because you'd regularly be putting yourself in other people's perspectives and seeing the effects of things and what have you. Maybe it's chicken and egg, but there's something to that. Trump doesn't read. Never did. Nada. Becca says they're saying in Twitter he's set to end his campaign in the next 72 hours. Biden or Trump? But it's Twitter, so take that with a grain of salt. I'm asking about Trump. He made a chunk of money after the attempt, but that's still a weak card. It's just a page. It's not even a knight. You'd want the knight. He would want the knight of pentacles, the money courier, the one rolling the barrelfuls of the wheelbarrow full of cash in. King of Pentacles. Those are the big donors. Three of Cups. These are big donors. That's Democrats. I wouldn't say, isn't Biden bringing in, isn't he bringing in a lot of money right now? Because there's the Seven of Pentacles. That's a lot of money. Fruits of labor. Is it going to drop out? I don't think so. I'm not picking up on that right now. But I've been really looking forward to this last question. At 102, let's say 103. At 103, Trump claimed divine intervention saved him. Is he exploiting religious sentiment to solidify his base? Or is there any chance he actually genuinely believes he's on a God-given mission? Well, he's completely full of himself. He's like a medieval king. But I am the chosen one. And he said that. And he looked up while he said it. So has Donald found a spark of religion in his heart that is five, what is it, 5 sizes too small? Oh my gosh, Julianne, bless you. Thank you. Thank you. That is huge. Thank you. Oh, the kitty. You going? Okay. Thank you. Pamela. Yeah, he's been chosen to go to jail. Okay. All right. Well, there's the man. The vile, horrible, disgusting. Has he found religion? Because he did come near death. That those are the first 2 cards. That is exactly the cards you would get for an assassination thingy attempt. Yeah. So those are the first 2 cards. 3 of Pentacles. Okay, trying to exploit the situation. There's a plan. Pentacles is material, like money. Queen of Swords. Okay. Three of Swords. No, this is trying to take advantage of the situation. And that's legal matters, but it's also women voters. It's just not going to go well for Trump over the next so many months. It's just not. It's just not. And he has no one to blame but his own awful self. I promised you a little meme. Actually, Becca's already seen it. Becca is the one person here who has seen it, I believe. But I promised you a meme. So, yeah, I threw this together last weekend. No, at some point I threw this together, and I wanted to leave you with this little thing, because always try to find some humor or something, especially when the fact is he survived. Okay. So, yeah. I saw this picture and it was like, hips like that. Anyway, that is going to do it for me for today. Thank you for being here. Did I miss something? Okay. All right. So, oh good, I made people laugh. And it was totally worth it. It was totally worth it. All right. This. And that is going to do it for me for today. But thank you for being here. And thank you for being so kind to each other. It is 1:24 p.m. here in Chicago. At 3 o'clock, I will be over on the Creative Sprints channel. You are always welcome. And other than that, I will be right back here tomorrow, because I'm literally here every single day of the year, every weekday, weekend, holiday, your birthday, my birthday. Over 4 years, I have been here, and I will continue to be here. So hang in there. All right. We are in this together. Right? You're not alone. We're in this together, and there are good days ahead. So take care. Be safe. Be back by 10. Take a sweater. Sorry, my Cancer moon just jumps out sometimes. All right. Take care and be back. I will be back tomorrow. Same cat time, same cat channel. Bye.